Welcome, 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 1, 2. Welcome, 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 1, 2. Welcome back. This is Volothan Modulus Tautology. I'm dropping another video. Last check my numbers again. 749 friends or followers on Facebook. So send a friend request or hit the follow button. Get me up to 750. On YouTube, I'm at 69. So I need one more follower on YouTube, and that'll get me up to 70. Follow me, I'll follow you back. I ain't got a problem with that. And there it is. There it is. There it is. There it is. Trying to build the fellowship, or I like to say the fellowship. Yeah, I'm fit. I'm almost. I think I'm 45% men, women on Facebook, because Facebook is mostly my friends and family and friends. Whereas YouTube is it's a little tougher because I'm dealing with complete strangers, I guess, and most of my family, I guess, don't use YouTube or utilize it in the same manner that they once utilized Facebook. They don't use Facebook like that. That's why I know I could tell the climate on Facebook is being world star hip hop. It's just completely out of control. And there it is. There it is. What I got running in the background is Pikmin 4. A beautiful game. Pikmin is one of the most beautiful games invented. This is the fourth iteration of it. It's a management game. It's some would say macro management, others would say micro management. Therein we have the same issue in discussing or understanding macro or micro economics. It's still economics on in the end. Therein, we have seen a lot of not separation, delineage, desegregation, whatever breaking up term that you want to see. There's so many different economics out there, from behavioral to capitalism to communism. These are all forms of economics. They say governance, but the governance is controlled by economics, the economics of the situation. So that's why we're coming together as foundational Black Americans, and we're like, the reparations is long way overdue. Our families are being destroyed by all these economic plans, and there it is. So our focus is supposed to be building. Period. It has nothing. They have nothing to do to really stop us, except for denying us or defunding us from the concept of money. So once we get the money, we'll start circling it amongst ourselves, and it'll be building each other up. I give you services, you give me services, and in turn we'll have this medium of exchange to help each other build, so that then now we can, buy luxury homes, luxury cars, etc., etc. Right now, the only median exchange the only thing that they're buying from us is, all that's an illusion. I really don't want to go there yet. I want to stay focused. I'm trying to stay focused on all my podcasts, and that's what everybody's trying. That's what everybody's presenting. That's why I'm sharing this to my B1 group too. Shout out to May Good. Thanks for inviting me. I'll have fun on your page, but I am a game theory kind of a person. That's why I'm kind of using the video games. But game theory is deeper than just video games. It is a good chess match between two fellows, or a guy and girl, or really that, or two ladies. They can get the chess match on. And and have conversations. It doesn't have to be chess. It can be hearts or spades is one of my favorite card games. Uno. Um, Tunk has always been popping up on my page. The algorithm kind of want to bring me back because I used to play Tunk way back in the day at Kutztown University. The most famous Tunk game that I had was with Andre. What's his name? Oh, jeez. Eagles player. Well, it'll come back to me. Um, there it is. There it is. Me trying to reminisce and add little quick stories to this conversation. But let me get back to focus. Let me get back to focus because I came off focus yesterday, even though it was the topic, and forgot not Al Sharpton, but Jesse Jackson's name. Because back in the 90s, Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson were the political leaders. They were running for president. Back in the 80s, Jesse Jackson ran for president. Hip hop supported him, gave him cash to promote himself, and in '88 he lost again, and I guess he ran, or he was a part of the debate or the Democratic, primaries or whatever they call them. But I'd never really been into the primary politics because when I first registered, I registered independent, so I only vote in the main elections in November. To pledge allegiance to these political parties, and they're the same political party. I did take a left turn in 2016 and voted for Jill Stein, so I went Green Party. I said I'm gonna join the Green Party. I ain't joined, but I voted straight down Green Party, and I know the Sabby Sabs did the same thing in 2020. So I'm like, Sabby Sabs is following behind me. She's supposed to be the political commentary professional, and I try to share. I share some of her content some of the time, but I can see where she's a little behind the time when it comes to following the code. And the code is, if she claims to be foundational Black American, then be a foundational Black American. That's the problem that the three Democrat politicians or teachers or whatever they want to call themselves, that's attacking foundational Black Americans. Of course, Barack Obama can't directly attack foundational Black Americans. That's why he was set out to attack the manosphere. Now, the manosphere, they want to include, they want to put, it used to be called MGTOW, Men Going Their Own Way, at the top. And then there was a group called IB More, not international, introspective Black Men of Revision. Now, that's the creation of a gentleman named BGS. And that's kind of one of the two that Barack Obama was attacking when he went on his wife's show. He went to, I'm going to be the head of the manosphere now. Is his new movement. And hence, it's okay now that caused the debate, and BGS is following suit behind him in trying to be like, okay, be the leader in this movement then. Dennis Sperling is like, nah, forget you. Because Dennis Sperling has been pushing FBA as much as Foundational Black American as much as anybody. B1, the Black First kind of movement, much more than anybody, and being a part of the manosphere. So that's what makes him kind of unique in his delivery on his podcast versus BGS. I shared a little bit of BGS, but I didn't share all because BGS was being a little dishonest, because his movement is more so on, these are the pills, the red pill, the blue pill, the black pill, the pink pill, you know what I mean? And these are what the effects of those pills are. So right now he's been talking more and more about, instead of just the red and blue pill, which comes from the Matrix, the black pill is more of a pill without, what is the word I want to that he uses? Not virtues, not ethics. It'll come back to me, you know. But ethics, morality, virtues, and principles are the four key. Is a spiritual essence, I guess I want to say. But in mathematics, it goes back to the four color problem. I'm relating it to color theory, which is its own. It is a colloquial rhetoric. It's an emotional based ideology. It is psychologically based, and we are, or we once were, a part of Western Europe. It wasn't until 1776 that we wrote the Declaration of Independence, in which we declare we are going to obey the laws of nature, and nature's God. Hence, we have to separate from Western Europe, or Britain at the time. And it's funny to see ourselves trying to do that once again, and at the same time protect Europe from your Russia, China, Middle East, Africa nations. But there it is. There it is. That's politics, and to sum it up. But Barack becomes such an important figure because hip hop voted him in. Your P. Diddy, Jay-Z, 50 Cent, they all ran with this vote or die back in which would have been 2008, because 2016 would have been his end, right? 2008, 2012, 2016. I'm doing the math real quick in my head. So yeah, we did this vote or die movement, and that's what got him elected, just to keep it 100. And now he wants to recall the old gang, and we really need to hammer it home. Stop being misogynistic and being willing to accept a woman as the president. It's just but the most hypocritical movement towards that, because hip hop isn't a misogynistic movement. It's not a misogynistic culture. It's not a misogynistic community. It's not a misogynistic consciousness. It's just that, the truth be told, God originally put man and woman together as a marriage, and he made man the head. Now, whether or not that man lets his woman speak for him as the head, then that's up between them. That's the marriage. So I don't have a problem with Kamala Harris and Emhoff. It's just when Emhoff speaks, he's going to speak Emhoff. She's not speaking Emhoff, but she is. But she's trying to be independent of Emhoff. But in doing so, she's speaking against most black families where the man is the head. Therein is a lot of men are okay with where their current situation is, and hey, our situation works. Unfortunately, the statistics are true that 70% of black families, black children, grow up in single-parented homes, and the majority of that is the mother. Classic movies like Boys in the Hood, Menace to Society, depicts this too. And most of the time in Boys in the Hood, when it was time, when Trey became 12, 13, 14 years old, it was time for his dad to give the lesson. So that's why the mom gave custody to the man. right? Boys in the Hood. His name, the lead character name is, he went to his grandparents, and hence his grandparents became the moral movement of their grandson. And in the streets of the projects that they were in, it was way harder for them to really impose the Christianity values that he needed to live at the end of the movie. There it is. There it is. But each is, they're movies. They have a certain ethics, morality, virtue, principles behind it. But it's very hypocritical for a person like Barack Obama to impose that a child's father isn't the most important superhero in that child's life. It should be somebody else to check the father. How dare you? That's anti-God. And there it is. Yes. I've been watching Star Trek, and Star Trek calls it they call it the Prime Directive. Star Wars, the Jedi don't, once you reach a certain age, we can't train you. too old to begin the training is what Yoda used to say all the time. And but the philosophy is still the same. It is that father's responsibility to raise that son into manhood. So in every book that I read, it says, yes, she has children. It's his responsibility, the father's responsibility, to help her raise those children. If the father dies, unfortunately, that makes her a widow, and hence we as a society were supposed to help her and those children. If both parents die, then yes, we're supposed to help the children. The children are now orphans. If he's a widower with the ER, which to many is a derogatory prefix, right? ER is a derogatory prefix, right? So I hate when people come in the store, where's the manager? Or the school, who's the teacher, right? Or you're the master, like. And when we're dealing with a lot of people with mental health issues that don't respect those positions, and we have that same situation in the homes when the father isn't in the home, and if the father is in the home, it's even more disrespectful to assume that she is the head, or he should shut up and don't have a say, like Imhoff should shut up and don't have a say. There it is. So I'm going to share a little bit of Dennis rapping about the same context real quick. I might play a little bit of the game, depending on how much time I got left. The Dennis video that I'm going to share is only 8 minutes long. We got to get this together. We got to figure this out. We have to respect the leadership that God gives you. We have to respect the leadership that God gives you. And yes, Barack used to be the president of the United States. You're not the president anymore. But technically, yes, you're still the president because, yes, the people still want to follow you. But you want to do all the talking and then don't want nobody else to speak, like a dictator. It's very hypocritical. And then to claim that that's what Trump is doing, but y'all not. You're supposed to be the one that asked Trump. You're supposed to be the one that asked Trump for reparation for foundational Black Americans. Keep it 100. There it is. So give me 2 seconds to hook this up real quick. I gave y'all 19 minutes of that off the top of the dome. I got way more to rap about on that, but I hope y'all enjoy this little uh, share of Dennis Sparling, and we'll end it like that. Here it comes. Here it comes.
who do not reflect their identity or orientation. And this assertion didn't come from a sociologist. I don't think he has a degree in sociology or he, I don't even think he's a pop culture figure. It came from a man once heralded as the first black president of the United States, but we all know he's the first African president. So we got to somebody type first African president in the chat room. And by the way, I need you all to make sure you put the ICE phone number in the chat room. Put the ICE phone number in the chat room. And if you need a job, America needs you. Okay, put that ICE phone number. Nevertheless, a man, okay, many believe, you see, when we voted for him, well, we thought he was going to be the voice of Black America. You see, we thought he was going to be the voice of foundational Black Americans on the world stage. But now, instead of empowering our community to reclaim our sons from a system designed to destroy them, Obama has chosen to lecture us from a place of detachment and psychologically and culturally and experimentally, because he does not have any boy children. Okay. And so, it's an experiment for him. And to me, like many of you all, I think we think this is disappointing and borderline is dangerous, I think. Because when a man who is never raised by a black father, who never raised black sons, who never raised any sons, uses his platform to redefine what masculinity is, and by implication, black masculinity, right? He's not mentoring, he's meddling. And worse, he's reinforcing the very stereotypes and ideological manipulations that continue to fracture our families and effeminize our young men. And in this moment, it demands a reckoning, not just with Obama, but with who he is, where he came from, and what qualifies someone to speak on the lives or the lived realities of raising black boys here in America. See, his comments aren't rooted in cultural knowledge. They're rooted in academic abstraction and political correctness. And we, as foundational Black Americans, have the right to push back. Because, see, our sons don't need to be corrected, they need to be protected. And we won't allow even the most polished political figure and with his little flip-flops on and his little tailored shirt, we're not going to allow him to suggest to us otherwise. Again, our first African president, Barack Obama, respectfully, he is in no position morally or culturally to tell black people how to raise our black boys. The hard truth is this: he was not raised by a black man, nor did he raise a black man of his own in the form of his sons. He lacks the lived experience on both ends of the spectrum. His biological father, Barack Obama, Barack Obama Sr., okay, was a man from Kenya who returned to Africa when Barack Obama was 2 years old. And so, aside from a brief visit when Obama was 10, his daddy played no active role in his upbringing. And this matters because fatherhood isn't just about genetics, it's about presence, it's about discipline, it's about identity, it's about transmission of values. Obama Jr., of course, okay, he's raised entirely outside the context of both Black America and African male mentorship. He grew up in Hawaii and he spent his formative years in Indonesia under the care of a white American mother and white maternal grandparents. He attended private schools. He lived amongst military families and foreign diplomats. And he was immersed in the polite liberalism of a multicultural paradise, not the day-to-day realities of of anti-black policing in Compton and poverty in Detroit, or racial profiling in Atlanta that defines so much of the foundational Black American male experience. He didn't grow up with the black barbershop, the black church, the corner store, or as they say, the corner store, or the civil rights legacy passed down through community struggle. He grew up in an island bubble, literally and figuratively. And this upbringing insulated him from his African father's revolutionary roots and also from the anti colonial worldview that inspired many post independent African thinkers. He inherited neither the militant Pan African fire of Kwame uh, Nkrumah nor the grassroots, streetwise cultural capital of a Malcolm El Hajj El Shabazz. Instead, our former president emerged from an environment steeped in global cosmopolitanism and professional achievement and political moderation, ideal traits for appealing to white liberals and elite power structures, but hardly the stuff of cultural alignment with the working class Black American. And so, when our first African president stands on a platform, whether presidential or podcast, and begins offering prescriptions on how Black fathers should raise Black sons, it lands flat. Worse than flat, it comes off as condescension. How can a man who never sat across from his Black father, who never had to navigate the terrain of fathering a Black boy through the minefield of American racism, presume to know what our sons need, especially when he suggests that they need gay mentors to learn empathy, as though straight Black men are inherently emotionally broken? That's not just detached, it's insulting. Obama's worldview is shaped by symbolic diversity and Ivy League validation and post-racial optimism. This is fundamentally disconnected from the cultural trenches that foundational Black American families occupy. See, he speaks not as a man forged in the fire of Black American masculinity, something that we've had to fight for since the buck breaking days. Okay, but he speaks as a culturally curated figure of representational politics. That's what he is. He represents Blackness, but he does not reflect Blackness, and not in the lived sense that matters. And most when we talk about raising boys into men, that's when it's very necessary. If anything, Barack Obama is a cautionary tale about the dangers of mistaken appearance for authenticity and symbolism for solidarity. And as Black Americans reckon with the challenges of reasserting control of our identity, our families, and our future, we have to be bold enough to say what needs to be said. Barack Obama doesn't get to tell us how to raise our sons.
And there it is. There it is, there it is, there it is, right? Barack Obama drew First Blood. Classic movie. That's the first Rambo movie, right? First Blood. Who drew First Blood? Barack did. We get it. You're the president. This is why we don't hear from Bush, right? I did my term. I'm no longer the president. Now, in order to help the country, help the president, right? You're supposed to be helping Trump. Yeah, I'm calling. I'm on the phone every day trying to, hey Trump, yo, cut that check, right? This is what we trying to do. Cut the check, right? He's supposed to be doing it for us. That's what Barack is supposed to be doing. Not creating these false narratives of the dysfunction in the Black community that's causing all this crime and warfare, where the single mother parent homes is because these men are lazy or aren't paying up in doing their fair share. And stop, dude. All right, you sound like you sound like a reverse or what is it, Bizarro the Superman, right? Umar Johnson, right? And that's a whole nother debate or understanding on the three that I mentioned. I'm mentioning Barack Obama, Al Sharpton, and I can't. Where are my notes? Let me get my notes out. I'm gonna run over my notes again real quick. So you got Barack Obama, Al Sharpton, and Roland Martin. So I got to notes on it, right? Barack Obama is attacking the manosphere. That's BGS, IB Moore, and Dennis Sperling that you just heard. Al Sharpton, he's trying to play the role of the Black Caucus still, being a Democratic part of the party, but at the same time, we're independent. But you're not independent because you're not asking Trump for reparations either. Instead, you were attacking the target, just one business out of a million businesses, for canceling the DEI, but everybody's been canceling DEI across the board because it shows favoritism to the LGBTQIA plus DEI dot PDF policy files. Those are the policies that Barack wants to put back on the table again. We need to help the immigrants, help the immigrants, help the immigrants. Like, no, dude, no. We need to help foundational Black Americans. We need to help Americans. Yeah, if you help foundational Black Americans, you're going to help all American citizens. Notice, see how I easily just flipped it, and that's what Kamala kept saying. It's going to benefit everybody. It's going to help Black people too, right? And that's why Kamala's a complete waste. Why bring her back? She's not on my list right now. Let her, go teach at an elementary school or something. Al Sharpton. But I put Al Sharpton because that scenario when Jesse Jackson and Jamal Bryant was in front of the target, that classic video, and it was completely ignorant. But we'll get back to that later. And then Roland Martin, who also got some cash. Like, no, these are the cash getters. These are the people that made the most out of running Kamala Harris. They had Barack Obama on Facebook every 5 or 6 people that I scroll by, $5, just give $5, give $5, extorting us to give that cash to, Roland Martin got like 350,000. Al Sharpton got 500,000, but it wasn't him. It was his organization, and that organization pays you a salary, dude, right? And you are the CEO of that organization. Same with Roland Martin, all right? So now Roland Martin is mad because we've been saying you really don't have to vote, right? You can sit it out. That was Philip Scott's main thing. Like, I'm sit this one out, all right? Dennis Sperling, he was like, I'm registered Democrat, but I'm voting for Trump. I'm voting my interests. And then there's another guy, what is his name again? It's a young kid, man, and I'll slowly add more people to the list. But I'm giving you the list just to let y'all understand. The 3 that I give you, Barack Obama, Al Sharpton, and Roland Martin, those are the 3 heads of the serpent that you need to understand right now. All right? And then there's but the other kid, he's registered Democrat, Tone Talks. He's a part of ADOS. That's a whole nother thing. ADOS is another thing we vet, and we'll get more into that conversation as well. Because I've been, a part of watching these YouTubers grow. These are YouTubers. These are podcasters that have grown, and they're the independent podcasters. So they just trying to make cash just like everybody else. Like I'm trying to make cash, so hit the like button, subscribe, and share. Yes, I'm gonna be back with more videos sharing this video game, for example. And of course, hopefully I have my son with me. That way he can explain how to play the game. Like I can explain how to play the game, but once I start explaining, then he shows me how, Dad, you're no longer the teacher. I am the teacher. That's why I love that boy to death, Um, but Tone Talks, right? Now I'm jumping around a lot, but just to dig with me because I'm trying to get it all in. I'm already past my 30-minute mark. I'm doing overtime, as BGS would say. But Tone Talks likes to. He says he's registered Democrat, so we should down ballot Democrats. So he didn't vote for Kamala. He didn't vote for Biden. He didn't vote for Barack. But he down ballot voted all Democrats, and he just didn't check off Barack Obama, and which is kind of lame. Yeah, let's keep it 100. It's lame, right? It's you might as well not vote, right? Or just vote third party. Like that's what I've been doing. I've been voting third party mostly. Why? So if the Democratic Party died, good. Then now only have now quote unquote only have quote unquote one enemy, and that's the Republicans. Because now all the Democrats are going to become Republicans. That way I know who my enemy is. If I claim to be a Democrat and I see all these people that side talking and lying all the time, and I'm surrounded by my enemy. So the last is Roland Martin. His list was Vicky Dillard, Boyce Watkins, Tariq Nasheed, Umar Johnson, Philip Scott, and the Black Authority, aka Jason Black. And he put it in that order to attack him. He drew first blood because despite him making all that 500,000 and his business, it helped his business. His numbers are going to start tanking because we as Foundation of Black Americans are tired of his hypocrisy. Plus, he's a gay alpha. So, shout out to the Kappas, the Qs, the Iotas, and what's the other one? The Sigs, the AKAs, the Deltas. I don't know all the ladies for sororities like that. But it's 9 of them. They the Divine Nine. And go watch School Days again. Relearn the hypocrisy of your fraternity and sorority. All right? Because that division too is causing a lot of mental health issues. So y'all still my brothers and sisters. This is Volathat Modulus Tautology. I can go on and on for days and days with rhyme displays that engrave deep as X grave. We'll get back to Rakim and KRS One and my list on who's the true hip hoppers and what do we need to do to keep building this beautiful community, consciousness, and culture that we like to call hip hop. That is love God, our Father, art of time, hip hop life, love one, or one love, one love, one love, one love. That's God is love, hip hop is life, time is holy. Money is nothing more than that fourth dimensional illusion that really doesn't exist because economics or management is nothing more than the art of making the most out of life. And like I said before, that's hip hop. Peace, happiness to you.